Like every year, the garlic is back, and I started to put loads of it. This is some Italian-style garlic, and fresh from around here, grown in the countryside, so no chemical, nothing like that, and it's going to be brilliant. I wanted to do a recipe that's going to be simple, and I found this sauce, the crème d'ail, the cream of garlic, using only 2 ingredients, garlic and cream. Now, can that really work? Let's find out. Now, I went to the market this weekend and there was that stall with all these garlics, a couple selling garlic, and they're planting and growing the garlic themselves, and actually plant 30,000 bulbs of garlic, these ones, by hand every year. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So I said, you know what, let me help you guys, I'm buying other guys. So they had different types, and because I'm not an expert, I was asking what's the different types, so they did show me. So this is the one you find a lot, the Italian style purple. Garlic, very, very garlicky. You're gonna have that really pungent taste, you know, for pasta, for shrimps, that kind of thing. Well, this one here is the French style garlic, the white garlic. This is much sweeter. And this is the type you need for a sauce, like we're gonna do today. That one is a bit of their making. It's a triple smoked garlic. It's this one that has been triple smoked. You cut the top, put it in a roast, like a roast lamb or chicken, and you press all the garlic in the meat juices, and it gives this aroma, this flavor of smokiness. It is absolutely brilliant. So this is the inside. You can see the difference, the white one and the other one, the purple. This is how it looks inside. But what's important when you make a sauce and talking about cooking, it is, of course, to try to get these types of garlic. Locally sourced, small producer, and not an important thing full of chemicals. And when I'm using garlic, I'm always trying to use these. So be very careful. If you buy something that's important, this is injected, it's put in a room with lots of toxic gas to kill off the bacteria and to avoid any contamination. And that is not great. So when you make a sauce, make sure you've got these kinds of farm-like, locally produced garlic, because it is super important. And now, let's have a look at the mise en place. So here we are, 2 ingredients. We're going to be using 200 milliliters of cream, and I'm showing the brand not because it's affiliated or anything like this, because people keep on asking me, locally, what do I use? This. I'm using the organic Schulz. It's pure cream, that's what it's called here. It's with Jersey milk, very good quality cream. I've got the white garlic. We're gonna use 80 grams, so it's quite a lot, and then salt and pepper. I've got my reservation for this thing, I have to say, but I'm not gonna go rogue. I'm gonna go through the motion, and we'll see at the end. In terms of preparation, all what needs to happen, peel the garlic, and you remove that little germ, and this is the growth. And depending on how old your garlic is, this can be small or very long. You just remove it. It may add some bitterness. And you're going to do the same for all of the garlic. So I am all done. I've cut my garlic. I've removed the germ. I've rinsed everything and washed under clean running water. Put this into a little sieve. And now we're going to be blanching the garlic, which is almost like pre-cooking the garlic. When you're going to use 1 liter of water with, hear me out, 30 grams of salt. It's cold water. We're starting with cold water. We're going to put all of the garlic in and then bring it to the boil. So let's refocus on the pan, shall we? Will be better. Okay, everything in. And high heat. And I'm going to wait until this comes to the boil. So you can, you know, stir the salt in there. If you want, you can put the salt actually when the water warms up later. But, you know, like potatoes, I like to put the salt at the beginning here. I'm going to stir the whole thing, and then we're going to be done. Now, just a word of warning, if you were thinking of doing this perhaps without the blanching, please don't, because this is a crucial step. It really removes the extra kind of pungent aspect of garlic, that strength. If you were to do this with so much garlic as is, you will have something that will be absolutely unbearable. So you need to blanch the garlic. It's just a side note, just to make sure. As soon as the water is boiling, I'm going to turn the heat off, and we're going to scoop out all of the garlic and put it into a plate or something else, and with a little paper towel to drain the water out. Now the next step consists of transforming this and the blanched garlic into a puree of garlic, a puree of blanched garlic. You can usually use a sieve and press everything through like a drum sieve or a small sieve, but I've got such a small amount here, it's kind of hard, so I'm gonna add a tablespoon of water in there, clean water, not that garlicky water, and I'm gonna use my stick blender here and try to puree the whole thing, bit by bit. Now, as expected, an absolute pain with a small quantity. Sometimes cooking is best with bigger quantity. So I've got that kind of pre-pureed, and I'm gonna pass the whole lot through my sieve here to make sure I've got really something nice and thin. Now my recommendation, if you have a small tiny food processor to make things easier, just put all of the blanched garlic in there, 1 tablespoon of water or cream, bleach the whole lot, boom, you're gonna be done in an instant, no headache. Now I am quite curious to see what this tastes like because there was a lot of salt. It's been blanched and oh, okay. That's pretty soft. Oh yeah, it's really not strong as you would expect. You got the taste of the garlic, but really just almost as a vegetable, you know, like, almost like a turnip. You know, like a turnip, it's not too strong. It's that kind of texture, and you get some kind of strength into it. That's how, you know, what it reminds me of. Interesting. So next step, the pan, and we're going to take all of the cream and put it in. As soon as the cream is in, we're going to use medium to high heat, and we're going to bring this to the boil. And when I say this, I mean the cream, of course. My cream is boiling. I've reduced the heat, and now what I'm going to do is to simply bring that cream to a sauce consistency. So usually reduce it by 1/3 is enough. So you see now it's kind of very liquid. If I take it, it's very liquid. And we're going to reduce it until it just gets to that kind of semi-thick consistency that we want. Perfect, so for a few minutes I've got the consistency that I want. It's just a little bit thicker, you see? It's not like water anymore, it's got that kind of syrupy aspect, and when it flows. And I'm gonna now add the puree of garlic. And it says, you know, you can add to your taste, so I'm gonna go slow. I'm gonna add some, I'm gonna mix, and then we're gonna taste and see where we are. So very, very low heat when we work with small quantity, but definitely advise to make this in larger quantity, would be way, way easier. Okay, I'm gonna put in there. I'm gonna taste this as it is. Feel the garlic, but you know what? I'm gonna put absolutely everything. It is needed. Back to my spoon and mix the whole lot in. And now, the consistency, you know, I can see the grains now. It's very hard to see on the camera because it's all white. But yeah, the consistency, the grain starts to appear in here, which is quite interesting. And we're going to keep on reducing that sauce a little bit and then just add just the seasoning, and that's going to be it. So last step, it's always at the end with sauces that it comes together. The salt, because it lacks a bit of salt, and of course the white. I mean, we are trying to keep that kind of whitish aspect. And then we're going to, so this is just adjusting the seasoning, and that's going to be it. It is a flavored cream in a way, but let me tell you, it's got something. It is elegant. That's quite surprising. And here we are. After adjusting the seasoning, the sauce has got a different color. Look at that tone. And the consistency is really changed. Now look at this. It is really something else. In terms of taste, I've turned my heat off, of course. Let me try. I would say that now it's almost like you miss like the real garlic taste because it's very subtle, it's very round, but I've got something in me saying, you know what, we could add a thing, I may add a tiny wee bit of fresh garlic in there just for that little reminder of the real garlic. But away from that, for 2 ingredients, it's not bad. I'm going rogue again and I'm gonna add my little touch. That little fresh garlic is a tiny little weeny bit. I'm gonna stir that through. Now, look at this consistency. You see the sauce now? And let me tell you, that little piece of garlic that I've added, that's even too much. Oh, yeah, I think you can add even less than that. That's suddenly amazing. A tiny weenie of fresh garlic, boom, it's an explosion. But I think it's kind of what you need, you know? Because when you think garlic, you want a little bit of that garlic taste. So here we are, the cream of garlic, la crème d'ail, and look at this consistency. It's still, sauces always amaze me how you can transform. This is 2 ingredients. It's elegant, it's thick, it's elegant. I can see this in a restaurant, absolutely no problem. Now on its own, it's kind of hard to taste. So what I'm going to do, I've got a steak on there. I'm going to cook a steak on the side. I'm going to try it with a bit of meat. Here it goes. Now to finish our little test, I've just cooked a steak here, and we've got the garlic cream. Let me get rid of this on the side here. And it's got a nice texture, and I'm gonna put plenty of that sauce. Be very indulgent. And cut right through my steak here and see. It's a lot of sauce, but it actually goes really well. So now what I've done, you know, like this is the steak inside here, with the more pungent aspect of the garlic, it really works well. Okay, so first thing first, for 2 ingredients, that is quite impressive. The taste that you got at the end, if you don't add that little nudge of fresh garlic in it, you're not gonna have the typical kind of, imagine of a garlic mayonnaise that you have, that really garlicky kind of taste. It's gonna be much more subtle. So if you don't like garlic, it's great. If you're someone that wants to have that garlic thing, a tiny weeny bit of fresh garlic really wakes up the sauce. Now with the meat, when it's paired with food, it works absolutely beautifully. And what I think is great with this is that when you think of a garlic sauce, it's usually some kind of a mayonnaise, right? Because it almost tastes as it was a mayonnaise with garlic, but this is for fries and stuff like that. And yes, you could have it on a steak, but mayonnaise on a steak. But this, with the cream and the garlic puree, changes the game altogether. And I think this is quite impressive. So I would really recommend anyone that likes garlic to really have a go at that sauce. And you know what? It goes with meat. You can also serve it with fish and on warm vegetable. So all in all, a very versatile sauce. And we are done. That completes that garlicky video of the week. And as always, if you have any question, the usual, use the comment section. And if you make that dish or you want to share some picture, go to Instagram, hashtag #myfrenchdish. And to support us, you get Patreon, of course, the culinary school. And we get a full course on how to make sauces. And this is one of those sauces that is usually destined for restaurants. And you see, it's not always super complex. But that's it for me. I will leave you with this picture, and I'll see you all next week for another French cooking video. Take care all. Bye-bye.